Welcome, everybody, to another episode of IBC News. As always, we will get things rolling at 5 minutes past the hour. Thanks for joining in. And while you're waiting, please get down there and hit a like and a retweet. Help get the word out there that the news is about to start. As always, today's news is brought to you by Cleomedes, your local decentralized validator. Important to remember that everything spoken about today is informational only. We are not your financial advisors, so nothing is provided as financial advice. We are coming up on the 5 minute mark, guys. Just throw some more updates out there on getting the news reported. We always support people highlighting things that are happening in the ecosystem that are of interest to you. We want the news to be interesting to everybody. We try to avoid things like airdrop information. That's plenty of infos out there. If you don't follow Airdrops One or any of the other great people that have been, working to keep the community informed on that stuff, definitely give those guys a follow. But for IBC News here, we are sticking to hard hitting news about actual development that is happening across the interchain. We're looking for on chain governance proposals. We're looking for business development, new product announcements, things that are actually built. We try to avoid digging into hype. This is all about the facts. We just want hard hitting news. What happened in the last week? So, as we get into it, that is the basis for IBC News. Thanks everybody for joining in. And as we are now at the mark, 5 minutes past the hour, let's jump into it. What is happening across the interchain? To kick things off, we've got Cardano integrating IBC via a sidechain. So, for all you Cardano fans, exciting to know that it is now going to be part of the interchain ecosystem. It's a pretty big move. Probably a smart one for Cardano, considering IBC is getting connected to everything. That gives Cardano not only access to Cosmos ecosystems, but also Ethereum, expanded EVM world, and also chains like Polkadot, and we've got Avalanche. Oh man, it's like IBC is getting connected everywhere. So it's the easy one stop shop to get connected to the entire interchain ecosystem. Good job, Cardano. Fun to see how that's going to grow. On to Cosmos Hub news. We have a proposal from TimeWave to instantiate the Cosmos Hub interchain account on Neutron for enabling future cross chain functionality. There's not any particular application that they are trying to activate, but rather just open up that channel. Interchain accounts gives people the ability on gives it'll give the Cosmos Hub community the ability to operate on the Neutron chain natively through the interchain account functionality. So lots of different ways that that can expand over time. But once that ICA channel is instantiated, now communication would be possible. So that proposal is live from TimeWave. Definitely jump in there and give that a look. As always, we have links to all this stuff that come out on the Clio Media's account afterwards. So if you're having troubles finding the info that I'm talking about, we will share that. All right, onwards. We've got Comdex jumping into the trend, announcing their intention to join the AEZ as a consumer chain for the Cosmos Hub. So that is one more in the growing list of projects that are excited to be a part of the AEZ. Good news for Cosmos. And we've also got an on chain proposal up for updating the Cosmos Hub to version 18. This is a big one. It introduces features like permission CosmWasm. And we also have Skip's fee market module and expedited proposals getting added to the mix. So lots of good feature updates in this one. Make sure you jump in there. We got the link coming after the show. Read up on all the updates and features. Make sure it makes sense to you, but it's up to us to approve this update. So get your votes out there, folks. On to Osmosis news, we have Router Protocol requesting whitelist for uploading contracts to Osmosis. Router is offering access to their robust suite of interoperability tools. So exciting news for the Osmosis community as they continue to expand. Router will bring in access to all kinds of new ERC20 markets. So, speaking of, we have the Liquidity sub-DAO of Osmosis proposing a plan to bootstrap the ERC20 markets utilizing protocol liquidity. They want to take Axel and ETH tokens held in the community pool and start DCAing dollar cost averaging into different ERC20 positions so that we have a community pool full of diverse tokens that can be utilized in bootstrapping the liquidity in this new growing ERC20.
The bubble was exploding at the same time, so we decided to leave behind us the metaverse world and to focus on something purely gaming. So last year we released our first game, which was quite a success. The name was Revenge. But it was not the same Revenge as the one we are releasing this year. It was a prototype. It was a zombie game, and in less than 3 months, we were in the top 5 most played games on each platform: Ultra, GameSwift, Elixir, with more than 60K unique players after 3 months. The month of the launch was about like 20K monthly active users, and all of this without a lot of marketing. In fact, really the Web3 classic playbook, loot box, free mints, 10K players playing the private beta 1 week in advance, activation at conferences, building the community, and having a great activation with Crypto.com, one of our partners. And from there, we had enough credibility and awareness around the project and the team to move forward. At the time, we were only 2, Ethan, myself, and 8 devs in east of Europe. And yeah, now, like 1 year later, the project has really evolved, exploded a bit. We are 45 people working on the project, C-levels from the CMO, who is the ex-head of gaming at TikTok, to the guy in charge of the economy and the monetization, Ramin, who wrote the white paper at Immutable, and prior that was in charge of the monetization at World of Tanks and World of Warships, 2 IPs push beyond 1 billion in revenue. Yeah, a lot of road has been done, in fact. But yeah, we had quite an intense year. So happy to discuss a bit more about that with the community now. You know better from where we come, in fact.
Yeah, definitely. Would love to talk a little bit more about that initial inflection point when you kind of saw metaverse and then you, I'll say pivoted a little bit into more of the gaming piece, and then you released your first game, and now you're kind of scaling that out. What were those initial conversations like? How did you actually like make that decision? And then how did you kind of pivot that? And what was kind of the core thesis there on the game?
Yeah, in fact, the metaverse bubble was, starting to fade. We were feeling that was too early for the mass market to play, to monetize this kind of projects. And at the same time, we were realizing with Ethan that the Web3 gaming space was still early, poor in gameplay and in innovation. And what we have decided to do, in fact, is to quit that kind of casual space for players, which was the metaverse one, and to focus on something much more like common, a gaming product, but integrating disruptive concepts. We launched this survival game. It was a success, and like a low budget game, but a success. And then we have started to attract talent. And we met Phil. Phil O'Connor is an ex Ubisoft. He has more than 30 years of experience. I think 25 FPS title. If you played Far Cry 3, you played his game. He was the lead game designer at Ubisoft for Far Cry 3. And when we met him, he told us, "Okay, guys, I'm super interested by like your energy and like your vision. I have an idea of a game loop that does not exist even in the traditional gaming space. What do you think about like involving the spectators actively with the players?" And like with my co-founder, we just had the discussion, did some research. We saw that like the market of the live streaming as a spectator was about to triple between 2019 to 2029, and we understood the opportunity. And definitely for us, it's like the best product to bring in the mass market into a Web3 game, because the game loop takes place on Twitch. From Twitch, you are involved into the games of your favorite Twitchers or casual players, and you can interact with them with token. In fact, not with token, by converting token into the currency of Twitch. All of this in a seamless way. The token is not in the ecosystem. We are an Epic game. We are a free-to-play game. We are on Steam. For the last 2 weeks, we have been approved on Steam. But yes, the goal for us is now to, one, offer this disruptive game loop to the Web3 space, which does not exist in the Web2 space either. It's something really new and disruptive. And also to bring in a seamless way this Web3 components, tools, and monetization into an ecosystem.
I'd love to dive into some of the specifics around the game. If you could go into a detail just around painting a picture for the audience on what they should expect when they play the game. What's it like? I know you guys have a really cool sort of twist on the PvE FPS sort of space. So I'd love to dive into that as well.
Yeah, that's fun because we have decided to go after the PvE space because there is too much people on the PvP space segment. There is a lot of AAA gaming studios that are failing to launch games every month, and 20 million budget sometimes, because I think it's toxic, because it's potentially also the end of a cycle. But like the previous cycle was definitely about PvP, but when you see the recent success of Helldivers 2, maybe we can imagine that the PvE and some less toxic gameplay where you will meet people and get entertained will be back soon, and will be something that the community wants. So we took this bet. So what you expect by playing the game is this first game mode of Revenge will be a PvP extraction game. So you have 4 players. We call them the Raiders. They have to reach the extraction point through the arena, and these Raiders, they are backed by guides, 4 guides. So the guides are players inside the game that have a kind of drone vision. They are much more free than the players. They can fly. They are supporting them in fact from the air. And on Twitch, you have the third persona of players, which are now real spectators. In fact, from the API Twitch, spectators are called the oracles, and these oracles can impact the gameplay live. They can send resources, they can send locations to the players, they can modify the environment, create shortcuts, modify the weather, modify the UI of the player. So it's really about like engaging the audience of the streams from Twitch into the game directly.
Sorry, accidentally muted myself. Yeah, would love to just kind of think that through a little bit more, because I think we're seeing in the Web3 space right now, there's just an incredible shift moving from where these like ad platforms and the bigger holders of community and attention are definitely getting interrupted and outcompeted by the individual live streamers and influencers and those who are, I'll say, more individuals versus an entire kind of like a corporate media entity, if you will. So can you just kind of talk a little bit more about if you're also seeing that shift, and then how that movement of attention from more of the corporate, more to the individual, how that kind of affects this, and how does that just work, just in everything that you're doing?
Yeah, that's fun because I had this discussion last week with Team Vitality, the French esports team. These guys, they are potentially the best example of a Web3 successful launch in Web3. They launched, an app on chain a few years ago, 3 years ago, and they have like potentially 1,000 user active at the moment. Like what we told them, like, at the moment we can see a lot of people that were on or are professional gamers that are involved into the Web3 space, but sometimes as advisors, not streaming Web3 games because their audience would have like backlash them directly. But nevertheless, they have understood the opportunity and they will be building here, and they will potentially be waiting games like us or others like Shrapnel, Off the Grid, or great AAA titles that are currently built. I think the Web3 is the perfect playground to allow the monetization of the casual esports. So definitely the first commerce are the pro esports team, Twitchers, YouTubers. But at the moment, they are just preparing their audience, and also in being involved into games and helping games to be developed the way their fans